Hello guys and welcome back to another video. As you can see here today, I am on the beast that is the MPC 2000 XL. Now it's really difficult getting everything set up to film around this, but hopefully we're all good. I've got the overhead shot and then I've got a camera on the screen as well. So hopefully that's enough to show you everything that I need to show you today. So what I want to share with you is 4 little features on the 2000 XL that you may not know about. Some of you probably will, hopefully some of you don't, and it teaches you something new. These are all going to be helpful for your workflow and hopefully save you a little bit of time when you're using this device as well, which I think is really important because it can be a little bit slow working with the 2000 XL. You do have to be quite patient, but these few things might help you along the way. They're just useful little bits of information that you might not have come across already, so I'm going to go ahead and share those with you. The first thing that I wanted to show you is that when you're recording, so if you go into Shift and Sample, you can see here that we're in the sample screen. Obviously, you've got the options for how much time you want to record. You do have to be quite conscious of the amount of memory you're using on these older devices because there isn't that much. But one good tip with this area is if you go ahead and hit the open window button, which is the orange button on the front of the device here. If I go and press that, you can see here that a little window comes up and it says sound memory. It tells you how long is left and it tells you actually how much you've got installed as well. So you can see here I've got 184 seconds and I've got the 32 megabytes installed. So this is just a really handy little screen if you're sampling in quite a lot of stuff, if you're sampling in quite long samples. It might be useful to check this now and again just to make sure that you're not going to run out of memory and that something's going to go wrong with your project. So first little tip, really quick one. In that sample area, just hit the open window button and you get to see how much memory you've got left. I think that could come in quite useful. Okay, the next one, and this is really handy. I've started using this a lot now, is that you can rename things using the pads. Now, you may have seen that there's letters on the pads above each one. There's actually 2 letters above each one, and there's even a few little symbols on the top ones as well, like hashtags, exclamation marks, and even brackets as well. So when you're renaming anything, so let's try and find something that we can rename. Here we go, we can rename the sequence. So instead of using the jog wheel and having to go through every single letter on the alphabet, what we can do is just use the pads. So let's say we want to call this one MPC vids, for example. So we go to pad 7 here, you can see M. So there we go, that's in. And then we need P, which is the next pad. There we go, that's in. And then C. And what you can see is that if you actually hit a different pad, it will automatically go to the next letter, which is quite nice. So we need a V, I, D, and a Z. And these two, I'm just going to use the wheel because it's really easy to just erase with the wheel like that. And there we go, MPC vids, enter, and it's done. And that's just a much faster way of naming things than having to go through and use the jog wheel for all the letters. So it's taken me a little bit of time to get used to the layout because obviously it's alphabetical and not a keyboard, so that does slow you down a little bit. But I think the more I use this, the more I'll get used to it, and I think that'll get faster and faster. So really good tip. Make use of these letters on the keys. You may not have even noticed them before, or you may have wondered what they're for. On any screen where you're renaming something, you can make use of those, so that's a really good time-saving tip, I think. Okay, the next one involves sort of numerical values. So we're going to go into program for this, drum 1, and params. And on this screen, I've got tune, and it's set to 0. Now, this is quite a common place that you come into on the MPC to retune your samples and usually pitch them down, I do, to get that sort of texture on them. And one of the ways that you can change the tune is obviously highlight that and use the jog wheel. Say that you wanted -200 or whatever, you can go ahead and do that with the wheel, or you can scroll all the way up to +240. But if you want a specific value, so let's say you want 0, you're going to come over to the keypad here and use the blue keys, the numerical pad, so 0 and enter. So that is really easy for positive values, so 20, 30, you know, it's really easy to do. But what if you want a negative value and you don't want to have to use the jog wheel? Well, that's actually really easy to do as well. Press enter first, and you can see now that next to tune, a minus symbol has actually come up. Hopefully you can see that. And if I hit 20 now, and then hit enter, you can see that it's set to tune -20. So if it's just highlighted and you go straight in and press the numbers, it'll do a positive value. If it's highlighted and you press enter first, it'll go to minus, and then you can hit your minus value in. That's a huge time saver. It's really, really useful, that one. Okay, the last one is using the slider. Now, the slider has probably got several different uses that I'm not even aware of yet. But one of them, which makes trimming samples a lot easier, is using the slider as a way of finding the points. So let me explain that a little bit further by demonstration. You can see here we've got the start point highlighted, and we've got the end point here, which we can highlight as well. Now, you don't want to be disturbing the neighbours doing this all night, using the jog wheel, and on top of that, it's really, really tedious after a while. So instead of using that jog wheel, if there's a point on the waveform, say it's just above zone, let's hypothetically just say it's above zone here, and we want to get to that a lot quicker. Well, what you can do is just hold shift, which you can see here is actually got a little grey border around it, and then you can use the slider for this value. So holding shift, now you can see I can move this value, and it's so much faster in order to get to somewhere a lot further down the waveform. So let's say we wanted to get here. And then we can just do a little bit of fine tuning with the jog wheel. And there we go, we nailed it. And obviously you can do the same for the endpoint as well. Highlight the endpoint, press shift and use the slider, and that allows you to move that along the waveform as well. This can save you a ton of time, and obviously, you know, the jog wheel is great for smaller values and smaller increments, but when you want to do a big chunk of a loop like that, and you want to take a lot of it off, definitely use shift and this slider, and that's going to save you a ton of time. So thanks very much for watching, guys. They were quite quick fire tips. I hope that some of these are new to you and that you've learned something and that you can apply these to your 2000XL workflow. I feel like we need all the help we can get with this device because it can be a little bit tricky and time consuming. So I hope that those 4 tips really help you. If you're new around here, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. I'm going to have loads of videos about older MPCs and the MPC Live 2 coming to this channel very soon, so stay tuned for those. Hit the bell and all that as well, and smash the thumbs up if you like this video. If there's any that I've missed out on this list which you think I should have included, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear them. But apart from that, guys, I'll see you all in the next video.